Radio with no plan. This is universal thoughts for all beings, seeing what I'm seeing, so you can realize and recognize. Radio with no plan.
It started off at 13, breaking all the rules. Cutting school and burning up at my brother's school. Not a bona fide money taker yet, but learn the fast about all the things that dirty gas. Started off in the streets with my peeps in the evening, creeping. Ice pick up my Pacific Trail sleeping. Sometimes just beating people for the hell of it. I was so young that getting locked was irrelevant. Getting older fast, taking cash on the street, breaking in mailboxes on the 1st and 15th. And yo, my favorite was the orange box cutter. Just opening it up and scare the shit up out of sucker. Toting shakes and shit, talking about murder. At age 15, I got my very first burner. Now it's time to get it on with society. Quick to click on any punk niggas that be eyeing me.
A local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name. Got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics? When I turned 16, kid, I thought I knew it all. I followed no man's yo. I made my own course, so I started moving with the clique of sick juveniles. We caught up in the system with rap sheets for mouths. I got drug possession and burglaries. I got A1 felonies with a string of armed robberies. It doesn't matter with the young to do a bid. Doing the dope crimes, being charged as a kid. I slid in new directions, I got cash on my mind. 17 now, I need the cream and that's the bottom line. It ain't hard to find, just link up with one of my mans. Someone who's real, somebody who I consider fam. So my man named Shank, he make mad bait. He drive from South Cliff to New York with fake gas tanks with dope and marijuana. He's mad paid to still live in Gowanus amongst the sharks and piranhas. So I got with him, now my pockets looking right until we got stopped one night, jumping on the turnpike, flashing lights is behind us. He said that we'll be fine. Now here they come with a team of drugs sniffing canines. So I guess I never see that condo with 2 car garages. I dropped my head and said I wish I never caught these charges.
Here's for all the brothers who wanna see green, but not green correctional facility.
Yeah.
Just keep your head up and make that cream and duck the man to the best of your ability. They got me caught up. Goddamn, they caught me slipping. Got me locked up 5 to 15 for that last shipping. For my mama and my shorty. Tell them daddy been naughty. People do the damnest things when they filled with 40s. I'm 21, I'm a man now, so I can stand trial now. Regret living the life of a foul child. Word. Maybe being a nerd would have been cool when I reminisce on school back in the days when I used to break mad school. Now I'm blocking the sale, no bail, who catching hell fail. You turn them dead, forget my girl, she ain't sending no mail. They try to play ya, I hang ya, I keep my banger, riding on prison buses, giving judges the middle finger. I blame my father sometimes, should've taught me the math, put me on that old straight path that I'd have known to have. Word to mother, my mama, she tried to teach me. My uncle tried to preach too, but he ain't get through. Me and my cronies had street degrees, shirked each other, my brother. There's no honor among thieves, so I participated in the paper chase. It was all a waste, cause now I'm caught up in the wrong place. Crime ruled everything around me. What? Catching charges, mama bail me out now.
A local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name. Got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics? A local bad boy, you who went against the grain, trying to make a little name. Got caught up in the game. I didn't recognize I was part of the statistics. Why didn't someone kick the ballistics?
Word up, man. Yo, brothers, man, you gotta recognize the death penalty is alive in 95 lethal injections. It's not like the past. Electric votes for that.
Yeah. It's about time somebody do it. You know? Come on. Cause we out here, you know, we doing it. We out here doing the same things that moms is doing.
I'm a good dad.
We gonna do it regardless. This is a dedication to good men and the fathers. Mostly overlooked, I had to do it regardless. They say the majority is lazy. This might be true, but some of us be providing them crazy. Not like we all dogs, men and women, we all gon' fall to the day that we all get called. But back to the subject at hand, some dudes can't be a father, cause they never became a man. And besides those, you got me, and a group of others who cherish having a family. And we looking for support. If you believe there's good fathers out here and not all of us in court, I be cooking, cleaning, up late nights doing the homework, after hours of doing my own work, ready and able. Promise to fulfill my duties as a dad since they cut the
I'm
naval
not just
cable.
a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy."
And the new father of the year, I'ma keep getting this. I'm a ringer. I already got my speech written since some men get a bad rap. I grabbed my pen, I couldn't have that, and wrote this dad rap for him. I'm in the kitchen checking the grub. When things get hot, I start flipping. I'm just a lion protecting my cubs. I left the clubs in the streets, but my pops ain't diminished. And them drug dealers know that my block is off limits. So what? Me and wifey broke up. Nah, let me stop fronting. Every time I think of that, I get choked up. In court, we get no luck. And paying child support is like buying tickets to watch them grow up. So ladies, recognize a real man when you see one, cause even the queen gotta live in the kingdom. I'm the boss of them all. When I call, they fall in. Hold on, I think I hear my kids calling.
I'm not
right
just
back.
a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy." Why you wanna take me to court? And why you wanna raise your support? Is that all you see in me? I wanna show my kids what a man should be. I'm so much more. I'm a man. I give my life, cause that's who I am. To make my kids proud, so they see I'll always be their daddy.
Who would've known what I turned out to be? Unless they knew the fruits don't fall far from the tree. It was sown in me to provide for many. Meeting my fears head on, never hiding from any. Adopted it from my pops. Always worked hard to go the legal route, so I never had to run from cops. I had no idea how many floors pops had to scrub just so I could rock nice gear. A human example, he was my knight in shining armor, and I'm sure that he was just a sample of credible men that ain't never had their name in lights. Would've gave his life to raise me right, introduced me to the church. He was there for my first and second birth, even helped me see what I was worth. All you hear is pops is a rolling stone. You seen mine, he was alone.
I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my dad." I'm not just a baby father. Oh no, I work harder. Oh yeah. So when my kids look at me, they proud to say, "Daddy, that's my daddy." My daddy. My daddy. My daddy. My daddy.
I was despised and rejected, spit on and disrespected, came to my own afflicted. Why didn't they listen to me? The greatest sacrifice no other man could ever give. I gave my life and soul, knowing it would make you live. Spirit was willing, with my flesh I had to overcome. I asked my Father, pass this cup, but I was the only one to do His will, fulfill the scriptures to perfection. Lay down my life in hope of reconciliation. Christ is on His way. Will you be waiting for me? Christ is on His way. Will I find faith in Thee? Christ is on His way. Come to the end of this confusion. Christ is on His way. She turned the righteous ruling. Christ is on His way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on His way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on His way. I've been the sins of many. Christ is on his way. How could you do this to me? Of all the families on earth, you only have I known. My sheep was lost in this world. To you my love was shown. I came to give repentance, forgiveness of your sins, to be a prince and savior, but you won't let me in. Instead you delivered me unto the enemy with all your blasphemies. How could you do this to me? Stiff-necked and stuck in your ways, you broke the covenant. You only got a few days before I make my judgment. Oh, forgive them, for they know not what they do. What they do, what they do. I will plead with them face to face till I turn it back to you.
Yo, you thought I wasn't coming back? Imagine that, watch the sky crack when I attack. I held back the winds from the four corners. Now you were gonna watch my battle wax get bloody. No one above me to please them, to choose me, to bruise me, but nothing could move me. You refused me like you never knew me. I didn't have to do it when I carried your iniquity, your wiggly witchery. Now you don't remember me, the whole world watched on my name. They lied, denied that I died, so they pierced my side. Now I will return to burn, to unlearn, but the whole world heard. But for
everything I do is for the Lord. If I breathe, I breathe for Christ. If I die for Christ, no matter the price. Understand it, I present my body as a living sacrifice.
That's right.
Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. The coming of Yahweh is not. And he prophesied when he was going to be born and died. I hope these cats realize that there ain't much time. First and foremost is Satan holds post. Keep your guards up and close with the armor of the Most High. He's not a man that he should lie. I hate when we teach Jake and they walk on by.
Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Will I find faith in thee? Christ is on his way. Coming to end all this confusion. Christ is on his way. Establish eternal righteous ruling. Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on his way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on his way. How could you do this to me? Christ is on his way. I'll hear the ready for me. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna be no more. Israel, you better is going to come out and no sense confused. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna be ready no more. Ain't gonna take this 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 confusion. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no more.
Welcome to another Testimony Friday. Thank you guys for being here. You could have been any place, but you chose to be here tonight. Thank you so much. Forgive me for coming on a little late. Was doing something, so forgive me. I'll do my best to be on point next week. We got a few new people here. You know, Erica, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Hope all is well. We have Shaq Rock King Black. Welcome us all. Welcome. Jean, welcome. And there's one more, Celestial. Let's welcome her to the podcast, to the village. Thank you so much for being here. Daryl, I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you for being here. Hey. So thank you guys for being here. I hope your week went well. If it didn't, at least you know you have 2 days to decompress and get it together to get ready for the new week in 2 more days. So get yourself a glass of wine or whatever you do. Relax. Today is Testimony Friday. Today is the day, Today is the day that you guys get to talk to us, get to share your strengths, your weaknesses. You get to talk to us about how your week was. Today is your day to be heard, right? Today, you have information that a young man or a young woman is right now going through something, and they need that information that you've just gone through. You've just gone through something, you've just conquered it, or you fell to it. It happens. There's a lot of information in our failure and in our triumphs, right? So, with that being said, we have to slow down. We have to internalize and look at ourselves, because that mirror is crazy, right? We talk about that mirror, making sure that we're flying right, because it's hard. We all fall short. All of us do. There's nobody on this earth that's not going to fall short. The problem isn't the fall. The problem isn't the fall. The problem is, what did you learn from that fall? And do you become a better person when you come out of that fall? That's the point, right? So there's no one better than nobody. I'm not better than nobody. You're not better than nobody. It's just certain people have a little bit more information, a lot more experience, and it is our job, it is our duty to be patient with people and to talk to them and help guide them through. That's the topic, and that's the reason why we created Testimony Fridays. Not about Bolo speaking. That's Information Wednesday, right? Today is the day you guys get to talk. But before we go into it, I always got to put this on so that we don't get flagged. Because like we usually do, I go into a video before we actually go into opening the lines and all of us talking to each other. So let's do that. We'll stop it and we'll try it again. I ain't hear nothing. I want to hear that voice. So we'll try it again. You know why? Because I was in the wrong place. Forgive me, guys. We're going to try it again. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips. The balance in favor of fair use. Word. So with that being said, thank you guys for being here. And you know what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Thank you so much. So last week we were talking about mental disease. We're talking about some of the symptoms that we should look for when someone is depressed, and how depression has some similar traits to sadness, right? But there is a difference, even though they look the same. Same way happiness can look like a manic depressive. They have certain traits that may look similar, but they're totally different. So we were looking at the different similarities and the differences between the two, right? Sadness and depression. And those of you that are new, you're going to hear that ding-a-ling in the background, right? That's my ring. There's animals that's passed by. It tracks the wind. It tracks ants, birds, everything. So you're going to hear that. So, excuse me. So we started talking, and we kind of didn't go into what we shouldn't say that we might think we should say to someone that is suffering with depression. Because a lot of the times, being that depression can have similar attributes that sadness can have, Sometimes we may say some things that said person that is suffering with depression may be offended by and look at you kind of sideways because you're not being empathetic and sympathetic. Not because you don't know. You know, if you knew that they were depressed, then you would move accordingly. Because you didn't know. Well, that's basically, you didn't know. They were sad. That's in your mind. In your eyes, you're thinking that they were sad. But really, they were depressed. So we need to know what the differences are and see the differences. Hey, Peach. So let's get into the video. Again, this is for learning purposes, not my video.
Hey Psych2Go family, thanks so much for all the love and support that you continue to give us. Psych2Go's mission is to make psychology more accessible to everyone. So let's begin. Do you know anyone struggling with depression? Is it your family member, a close friend, or someone you suspect? If so, if you're not sure how to confront them without making things worse, we made this video on things to avoid when talking to someone with depression. We hope you find it helpful. Sometimes a well-intended remark can be misconstrued.
So, and you know, what we need to understand, what we need to understand is for you to know said person, to know the difference between them being sad and them being depressed, you need to know said person. So when your child comes to you and they're telling you that they were bullied in school or they're suffering from whatever situation, you know, the day was hard or whatever, give them an ear. Too often do we just tell our children, it's going to be all right, man. Be strong enough to get, you know, figure it out. Too often do we do this. We need to start giving them an ear. Lyric posted something last week. It was the 9-minute thing, right? And what does that sound? You know, what is that? It's the 3 minutes in the morning. The child, you know, deal with them 3 minutes, you know, talk to them, converse with them. Then you have 3 minutes when they come back from school, decompress, to ask them how their day was. And then the 3 minutes before they go to bed. The 3 minutes, the 9 minutes, you know, just to let them know that they're important to you, that you're just not going to tell them, go ahead and figure it out when it's not about that, right? You know, as grown-ups, we have a hard time figuring things out. So who are we just to tell our children, figure it out? We have to be a lot more perceptive when it comes to our children and when it comes to our loved ones and when it comes to our friends. You have to know the difference, right? So me being that close to my friends, I know the difference between when they're sad. And even if I don't know, you investigate, you ask certain questions. Certain questions are going to point you to where that situation starts or started from. What does that mean? That means when you go to the doctor asks you certain questions. What's hurting? When did it start? What have you been doing? How are you eating? They're going to ask certain questions to kind of navigate them to where the potential situation can be. At least that's what doctors are supposed to do. You know, some doctors don't, other doctors do. So, you know, even when you pick your primary physician, you know, it should be a situation where you guys have a friendship, not to the point where you guys break bread or drink wine on the weekends, but to the point where he knows a little bit of your history. So he knows kind of where you're coming from and how to diagnose you. Because a lot of the times when you're dealing with these cookie cutter doctors, when they just want to get you in and get you out, they're saying the same thing to everybody. And they're not making that examination personal to you, which they should, because you're different. The way patient A handles cigarettes is going to be different than patient B. Patient A could have been smoking cigarettes all his life and nothing happened. Patient B smoked it for 2 weeks and he gets cancer. So they should be able to deal with you on an individual basis. So make sure when you pick your primary care physician for you and for your children that you kind of vet them Don't just go with anyone that's in your network, right? Pick the best one for you. Pick the best one for you. Communication. Talk to them. Get to understand them as well as they get to understand you. Because this is the guy that's going to be prescribing medication for you to take. This is the guy that's going to be giving you advice on how to treat your child when your child is sick, how to treat your wife or how to treat your husband when they're sick. So be mindful. Vet them. Vet your doctors. Vet a woman that you're going to deal with. Ask questions. Communicate. Find out what their direction is, their focus is. Find out what their intentions are. Right? Vet the men. Find out what their focus is, their intention, their direction. Ask questions. Do not assume. Don't assume, because we've made so many mistakes when you reach my age. You've made so many mistakes because you assumed things. So the best thing to do is ask. What do they say? A closed mouth don't get fed. So, with that being said, take a little time to investigate, right? Be a nosy body when it comes to your son or daughter. Go into their room. Look around. Ask questions. They're going to tell you stop being nosy. It's okay. You're not their friend. You're their parent. Now, you can have friend-like qualities so that you can talk to them and understand them, and understand that they're little entities. They're little people that are going to grow up to be grown people. But your job is to protect them. Your job is to create an environment for them to learn. An environment, a cohesive environment between their father and their mother. Because they need both parts. They need the order and they need the nourishment. They need both. And that's our job. Our job is to be our brother's keeper. This is something that Christ talks to us about. He talks about this all the time. He talks to us about caring for one another, being there for one another, hurting with one another, growing with one another. Right? This is 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. That's in the assumption if you are doing that. When one of you fall, pick that person up. Help that person to understand. Feel what that person is feeling, because that person may be weak at the time. Your job is to make them strong. So what do? Share your strength. That's when you're empathetic and sympathetic for one of them, right? This is Hebrews 10:24 and 25. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Let me read that again. And let us consider one another. Let us think about one another. Let us be there for one another, to provoke, to aspire, to make you want to think about truth, unto love, and to good works. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. We have to come together. This is why we have these platforms, right? The Lord allowed the powers that be to create these platforms, because in this day and age, it's hard to come together, especially when you're in neighborhoods that may not be as good as others or whatever. Now you can sit in the comfortability of your home with a glass of wine, or what did my man say? Irish whiskey. I saw that, brother. Don't think I didn't see it. And sit down and actually commune with people. Talk to them. Get to understand them. Get to build with them. Have them share what you share and vibe off of each other. Right? So we talk about love all the time here. We speak about love. And I like to give a definition, an understanding on what love is. Love is not just an emotion. A lot of people talk about, I feel love. Love is not just an emotion. Love is a hub. Love is the canopy that all of these things fall under that forms love. Right? So love is empathetic, sympathetic. it's directional, it's financial, it's health, patience, generosity, it's charitable, it's kind, it's forgiving, it's loyal, it's truth, it's emotion. It is all these things and many more. Love is work, man. Love is work. Those couples that you see that's been together for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, they'll tell you it's work. It's not something that just happens. Love is work. Love is intentional. Love hurts, it does, but you work through it. That's how strong and intentional love is. Love is not something that you just give up on. Love is not something that you say, I'm going to give up on it, right? Let's read the definition of love according to what Christ says. We have another person that's new named Veggie Jess. Veggie Jess, welcome. Thank you so much for giving the village a shot. We thank you and we hope that you become a permanent villager. So let's talk about what love is. Because love is not just something that I feel and then I expect to keep that woman. Well, I feel that I love you. But what does that mean? How does she feel it? How do I make her feel what I'm trying to tell her? How do I do that? It's an action. Love is an environment. Love is an atmosphere. Love is something that we create. How? Through action. So let's read it. This is 1 Corinthians 13. It says, if I speak with tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. There's no bass to what you're saying. It's noise, no validity. And if I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. So all of those things this person has, if you don't have love, and it's going to give you the definition of it, you have nothing. It means nothing if you have that faith to move. And if I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, so you're one of those guys or gals that give to the poor. Well, I gave all that I had. And if I give my body, I also sacrifice to be burned. But have not love, it profited me nothing. Means nothing. Here's love. Love suffereth long. Let me give you an example. Your child can get into your car and crash it. You get angry, but you forgive him. That's love. Love suffereth long. Your child can take paint and throw it all over the floor. You get angry, but you get over it. That's love. Love suffereth long and is kind. Love envieth not. Love vaunteth not itself. Is not puffed up. Pride. Love doesn't have pride. And don't get it twisted. We all suffer with pride. All of us do. All of us do. Love is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemingly, seeketh not its own, is not provoked, taketh not account of evil, rejoice not in unrighteousness, rejoiceth not in unrighteousness, but rejoiceth with good, with the truth. That's what love does. It rejoices with the truth, even though you may be wrong. Even though I may be wrong. When I get past that anger and I actually listen and say, yeah. I don't physically have to say to a person, I love you, but through my actions and my deeds, that's how you prove love. Because I can tell a person I love them, but if I don't show it, how do I show it? How do you get that woman to stay with you? How do you get her to submit to you? Because her submitting is an action to what you did. Her giving you her love is an action. It's a response to something. Love doth not behave itself unseemingly, seeketh not its own, is not provoked, taketh not account of evil, rejoiceth not in unrighteousness, but rejoiceth with the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things. In other words, I hope you do better. I'm going to pray for you. Even though you said all this ill will about me, it's all good. You know why? Because as long as I stay under the Lord, man, I'm good. The Lord is not going to allow anything to hurt me unless he wants it to hurt me or I step out of his grace. We've seen that with Job. You stay in his grace, he got you. That's a promise that the Lord gives you. Stand strong in his truth. Even if the world looks at you like you're weak. Even if the world looks at you like you're a punk. The only person we should be trying to impress is Christ, our Lord and Savior. Nobody else. Although we do get caught up at times. We all do. We all get caught up, including myself. We all get caught up. Love never faileth. Let's go back a little bit. Beareth all things. Let's go up. Rejoiceth not in unrighteousness. So when you do something wrong, you don't rejoice in it. You admit your faults in it. That's what love does. It doesn't blame. It understands what it did wrong. The person understands what they did wrong and learn from it. And learn from it. You become a better version of yourself when you come out of the situation. We all go through that. But rejoiceth with the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things. Hopeth all things, endure all things. Love never fails. Because when you put that love out, the people that understand what you're putting out will reciprocate that love. See, when you just give that love to anybody that is not deserving of it, that's where the problem starts. That's where the problem is. We don't understand what love is. We have no definition of what love is. So we think that if we just give it to anybody, they're going to understand what it is. No. You got to vet these people, man. You got to see what the intention of said person is in your life. Because remember, relationships can help you or it can hurt you. Not just relationships as man and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, even friends. If you hang out with 11 broke people, sooner or later you become the 12th. This is not something that I'm making up. This is the game. This is what it is. The game doesn't change, just the players. There is nothing new under the sun. This is all scriptures. It's not nothing I'm making up. This is why I give you chapter and verse. You can go back and look it up yourself. Okay? Love never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall be done away. So no matter what people say, no matter how people attack you, no matter how people attack me, if I stay in my love, it's going to stand strong. Those people that truly love me will be there after the fire and the smoke clear. And those are the people you're supposed to keep around you, not the fly-by-night cats. Mark them. Separate yourself from them. Leave them alone. Don't put those people in your circle because it will affect you. Because when you're down and out, and you will be, because all of us will fall. We all will fall. There's no one that is not susceptible to that fact. We all will fall. The people you have around you are the people that are going to build you up. Do they love you? Do they have the best intentions for you? Because truth given without love is a weapon. Truth given without love is a weapon. Love never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall be done away. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall be done away. The Lord is telling you love is everlasting, right? So we're going to jump down to 11. Verse 11. It's very important. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. There are going to be things that we fall victim to that is childish. It is. We all get pulled into it once in a while. It does. It happens. Your job is to realize you're getting pulled in. Your job is to figure it out and get yourself untangled. When you get into the dirt, it's cool, you're dirty. Don't continue in the dirt. And again, this is for everyone. I have a mirror on my desk. Why? Because I want to make sure that when I'm reading these scriptures to you, I'm reading it to me. Because we're all susceptible to this. All of us. When I was a child, I spake as a child. You understand things as a child. When you decide to take on a family, when you decide as a man to say, I want to have a wife, I want to have children, you then realize that it's no longer about me. It is about the protection, the guidance, the nurturing, the leadership, the moral standards, the integrity, the character, the trajectory, the focus of me being a man. That's what a high value man is. We strive to be high value, God-fearing men, as well as high value, God-fearing women. This is what we struggle for. This is what we shoot for. So when I was a child, I spake as a child. I felt as a child, right? All the time we talk about, I'm feeling things. I feel. Well, feeling is the start of the situation. Feeling has no context. It has no rationale. Feeling doesn't give you any information. You just know that something is going wrong. So what you're supposed to do is take said feeling and throw it up to your upper two bodies, because there's 4 parts to our bodies: the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. The feeling is the emotional. The physical is us partaking in this 3-dimensional world we live in. This is how we navigate, right? So you take said feeling and you throw it up to the mental. The mental then has a conversation with the spiritual, which is connected, hopefully, to the Father. And the Father tells you, this is the situation. I understand you're angry. I understand. But let's not react. Let's respond. Because reaction is not a thought process. Reaction is a knee-jerk thing. Let's respond to the situation. Let's think about it. Now, you thinking about it, you may make the wrong decision. You may make the right decision. That's not important. What's important in that scenario is you thought about it. That's the act. Instead of reacting, you think. And then from that, you now learn to practice it. And then it becomes second nature. And now you're able to think through the situation. Now, it doesn't mean you ain't going to choke somebody for 8 seconds. I think the legal limit is 9. But, you want to err on the side of precaution. So you choke them for 8 seconds. Doesn't mean that that's not going to be the decision you make. But think about it. Because there may be something else you can do that might be even more potent. You don't know. So we need to stop becoming reactionary. We have to start being proactive instead of reactive, figuring it out. This is chess, not checkers. You have to think 10 steps ahead. You have to think 10 steps ahead. Introverted, what up, baby? I spake as a child, I felt as a child. So you're feeling as a child. So now as a grown man, and I'm speaking of myself, what I understood at 10, when I'm 20, I'm going to have a different perspective of it. I better. Or there's a problem. My growth was stunted. I have a problem now. So now I am a 20-year-old that feels and thinks like a 10-year-old. And a lot of our men, unfortunately, that's what they're surrounded by. They're stunted. Although they're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. They have the thought process of a child. They have the thought process of a child. No, man. Grow up. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I felt as a child. I thought as a child. You're not a child anymore. Now that I am become a man. Now, again, it's not about your physical prowess. It's not about how big you are, how hairy you are, how much you weigh. It's not about that. That's why the Lord told you, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I felt as a child, I thought as a child. That's what makes you a child. Your speech, your feelings, your thought, your intentions. Hold on. Introverted, what happened, man? Hit me up. Hit me up so we could talk. Let me know what's going on, brother. So, now the Lord says, now that I've become a man, I put away childish things. You have to put away childish things now. Because what? Now people are looking at you, right? So because you have that gray on your face, they're going to assume that you know something, because usually with age comes wisdom. You hope. It's not all the time, but you hope. So this is what love is. So when you surround yourself with love, you surround yourself with people that care for you. You surround yourself with people that will be there for you, right? People that will help you. That's what this is about. Each one helping each other. That's what the village is. That's what the community is. This is what we do here. We help each other. This ain't just us talking. We walk it as well as talk it. So let's go on. So again, know the people around you. Know your children. Talk to them. And again, like I said, I'm not talking to you one that's trying to be above you, but is trying to say, I got it all together. Man, we all fall short, man. You listen to the song, it says that we all fall short. We all gonna fall till we get called home. We all are. The point is how you get up and how you learn from it. Who do you surround yourself around? That's the point. So let's get this video in.
Perceived as something hurtful or ignorant. So it's very important that you know how to be careful with your words. Here are 5 things you should never say to someone who's depressed. 1. You're not trying hard enough. Now, some of you might feel that this one is pretty obvious, but a lot of people are actually guilty of saying this to someone with depression. Telling them things like, you need to work harder at getting better, or it's because you're not doing this or that enough, discourages them and makes them feel as if you don't understand how hard it actually is to be depressed. You may believe that happiness is a choice, but depression is definitely not. Sometimes it's
So
because of
depression,
things that are out of
so there's different ways you get depression, right? It could be hereditary, it can be a chemical imbalance, or it can come at you through trauma. So not knowing how said depression has come by you just saying, man, it'll get better. You need to understand that person ain't thinking that way. That's the point of being empathetic and sympathetic. And again, we all fall victim to it, myself included. We're not empathetic or sympathetic to that person. We have to be patient with that person, understanding of that person. Don't put yourself in that person's position, because you see things differently than how they see it. Right? That's like you telling your child at 5, get it together, man. What's 5 times 5? You understand it. It's easy for you. But for this child, that's like giving them quantum physics. So we have to be patient with each other, understand each other, learn with each other, learn from each other.
person's control, like their genetics, traumatic experiences, or the chemical imbalances in their brain. So be sure not to make them feel as if you blame them for any of it. 2. It-
and understand why she's saying feel. Understand why she's saying feel. Because that's what they're moving off of, feeling. They're moving off their emotions. So you need to understand that's how they're moving. Your job is to be patient. Your job is to understand them. Your job is to try and figure them out. Help them to help themselves, not judge them. That's not your job. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be that beacon of light, right? We're supposed to stand on that beach and be that strobe light to let them know, listen, man, you're about to come up on some rocky ground. Slow down. Let's sit down. Let's talk. I'm not in a rush. Let's have this conversation. Understand where they're coming from. Do your best to try and understand where they're coming from. Please.
It's all in your head. This is another common mistake a lot of people make when they try to confront someone with depression. Though we might not see it, mental illness is just as real and serious as any physical illness. Sometimes even more so, because of all the stigma surrounding it. In fact, a book titled Depression, The Misunderstood Illness, written by Dr. Leslie Lim in 2008, shows that depression is the most misunderstood mental illness of them all. Depression is different from the
most misunderstood of mental issues. Depression. Sometimes you can suffer from it and not even know you have it. Again, sometimes you can suffer from it and not even know you have it. This is why you have to understand and speak to your children. Because you know why? I'm so hard on pushing it for the children because a lot of the times they may not know how to articulate how they feel. They may not know how to verbalize what they're going through. They may not. See, as grown men and women, we may have a difficult time doing it too. However, we'll do it better than that child most of the time. Our children, if they haven't had that cohesive environment for them to live and for them to figure things out, if their neural connections weren't developed, and we've gone through this about what happens when children are young, babies, what they're going through, what they're trying to figure out, cognitive thought that they are forming through the neural connections, learning how to see color, learning how to talk, learning how to move their tongue in conjunction with their mouth, learning their motor skills, learning what morality is, going through these different growing spurts, milestones. This is what they're going to use because going through those milestones, everything is connected to the neural connections, what's being formed in the brain. Because these are the building blocks, these are the tools that they are going to use when they're young adults. Hey, what's going on, everybody? You know, the devil's alive, man. The computer shut off. It's rebooting. An update just came out of nowhere, and it kicked me off. So as soon as the computer finishes the reboot, I'll continue with the video presentation. But I'll talk to you guys from the phone. That's what I'm doing right now. That we need to understand that we have to talk to one another. And a lot of the times we're going to get caught up in situations where it's going to be hard. Our emotions are going to be running 100. We're going to be pissed off. We're going to be angry. That happens. See, when you have the right people around you, and you have those people around you that love you, those people that want the best for you, those people that care for you, those people that care for your family, your children, what they're going to do is hear what you have to say and try to maneuver you the right way. Now, again, the scripture says there is no judgment higher than your own. What does that mean? That means that I can give you all the advice in the world. We can all see holes in any advice that any man or any woman can give you. We all can pick and choose what we want to take. At the end of the day, there is no judgment higher than your own. You have to live your life. You have to deal with what you have to deal with. Introverted. I'm going to see if I can invite you. Again, I'm working from my phone. I usually don't do that, but I'm going to see if I can bring you in. Can you hear me? Introverted, you there? Can you hear me? Introverted. Hello, hello. Introverted, I cannot hear you. So I'm going to kick you out. Come back in, bro. I cannot hear you. Please come back in. So again, we have to understand what's going on around us. We have to understand what day we're living in, man. We're living in the day of information. But not only are we living in the day of information, we're living in the last day. Remember, our children are going through a whole lot more than what we went through as children. They have a lot more hitting their mind, hitting their eyes, hitting their bodies, a whole lot. The over-sexualization, overstimulation, even the sick education. Then we go into the other thing that starts with the V and ends with a Asian. There's so many things that are coming at us, coming at our children, and we're having a hard enough time to handle it. Imagine our children. This is where you have to spring in. This is where you have to talk to them because they're going through so much. This world loves drama. This world loves to see people fight. This world loves to see the accident. But here's the problem with that. No one is going to get out the car to help you. You know what they're going to do? Pull out their cameras and film you. How many times have we watched that on hip hop, the website hip hop, whatever it's called, where someone can be getting robbed or someone can be getting beat up, someone can be getting attacked by a dog, and instead of said man or said woman getting involved or doing something, they pull out their phone and start recording. That's the day and age that we're living in. There are not that many people that will get involved. There's not that many people out there that will risk their life for another. There are people that say, let them do them. That's a problem. Because now, when they have that set attitude, God forbid, when something happens to them, they're going to say, where was everybody when I needed help? Well, the vibe you push out is the vibe that came back to you, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. Introverted, come back in if you can, bro. Look at it should be in the chat. But this is the point. And again, I'm working off my phone now, not the computer. So I'm waiting for it to reboot. Forgive me for this. This is the point. To see what's going on around the world, to see that our children This Modelo virus messed us up. It put us in front of the computer. It kept us from vibing with one another. It kept us from having symbiotic conversations, meetings. We're not meant to be solitary creatures. We're meant to hold each other, hug each other, feel each other's vibe, feelings, and all that stuff. That's what we were meant to be. The Lord tells you that He gave us a woman so that we wouldn't be lonely, so that we wouldn't be alone. The Lord tells you, forsake ye not the assembly of one another. Why? Because we're coming in that day where we're going to need one another. It isn't just about my family. It's about our families. It's about creating that village, creating that community, so that if I fall, you're there to help me pick up my family. Hey, Miss Beverly.
Hey, I just hit you up to see if you was back in play. The devil is busy,
He's
but
busy.
God is on our side.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm back in play. I'm back in
Okay,
play. I have my
so
phone.
maybe he can come back onto the stream.
Yeah.
Put the link back in one more time.
I'll do. Like I said, I hardly work when it comes to StreamYards through my phone. I usually do it through the computer. So I'll do it.
Yeah, but it's up because I checked just to see if it had came back up. So it's up now and it's running. And one thing that you said that I am in agreement with, and I made a fool out of myself on Wednesday, but that was so Joseph would not feel bad. We suffer from depression even as children, and like he said, he ate butter. Oh, well, I ate dog food and I don't care. Don't care. I did. And thank God I learned to work it out. My parents were helpful enough to give me counseling to work things out. After I started beheading baby dolls and stuff, they worked it out. I worked it out. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. And people should never tell anybody it's all in their mind or make them feel embarrassed for anything that they do when they're depressed.
That's the point.
Never. Never. We should not judge each other like that. We should love each other.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct.
Thank you, Bolo. And I'm going to get off and maybe he can come up and talk now if he just hit the link. If you put it in there again, he can hit the link and come on up. I love you all. I love you, Bolo. Thank you.
Love you too, Mama Beverly.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, this is what we have to understand, man. We have to put in the works for us to win. Because if you don't, you will fail. You will fail. You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. I promise you, you're not. You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. You are going to need help. That's where we come in. That's where the Lord tells you, forsake ye not the assembly of one another. You think you're different? You think that what the Lord is telling you isn't the truth? Then you have a problem. And again, you got to figure that out. We'll do our best to be there for you. I know I'm going to do my best. And again, understand that I'm not perfect. I fall. So understand that. And sometimes we need to take into consideration that might be hard to understand, right? Especially when you're talking with someone that has suffered with depression. Now, there's different levels to depression. Big Joseph, what's going on, baby?
Hey, what's up, Bolo?
Chilling, man. Talk to me.
I had just dropped in. I think I heard Beverly mention me about what happened last week. I was kind of like in and out, but
she didn't have a problem because she thought that what she was doing it made a fool of herself, but it was to help you, just to let you know that you weren't alone going through it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she was saying, that as a village, we're supposed to be here for one another, to let each other know that you're not going through it by yourself. We're here suffering with you just like you are. So that's what she was saying.
Oh, okay. Because I was kind of, I guess I was confused.
No, 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 no.
Um,
I hope you ain't take it like if she meant something, you know, she wasn't being disrespectful at all. She was just
no, I
saying,
know that.
yeah, she was just saying that we all go through it and that you weren't alone. And it's time that we stand up and let each other know that you're not going through it by yourself, that we are here going through it together. So that's what she
Oh, so
here for one another and go through it together. You did what I'm saying?
yeah, I think so. But when I was speaking about that, I was speaking of past tense, what I went through in my childhood
Hey, right.
and early adulthood. So I
She
don't
was,
know if people think that it's something I'm going through right now. Because it
no,
seems,
no. Nah. That's not what she's saying. She's
oh,
saying that we all went through that. You know, there's some
oh
people,
yeah,
there's some people that may not have gotten to that point of where you are, where you've come to the realization of what your ailments were when you were at that point of depression, right? You've managed through the Lord to able to see where your issues are, and you've kind of compensated to make it work for you, make your life work for you. So what she's saying is, I went through that too. You're not the only.
uh,
So what she's doing is she's testifying, not just to you testifying. She's saying, Duke, you're not the only one that went through it. I went through it too. This is real. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not
mm,
her saying that you are this or you are that. What she's saying is, Duke, I used to smoke crack too, brother. I used to do that also. And this is where I am in smoking crack. I've managed to get past it. You dig what I'm saying? So it made
mm.
me a better person. So that's what she's saying. She's saying that we have to suffer with one another. We have to suffer with
Oh,
one another.
oh, okay. Well, I was just just checking to make sure because I thought maybe the perception was that this is something I was going through still, in spite of my butter eating habits. Like that's a coping mechanism. And I actually talked to someone about this yesterday, my roommate, and I was like, "What is pica anyway?" I didn't even bother looking at the word, the definition itself, and I didn't want Mother Beverly or anyone else to feel like that I felt that lyric was I guess projecting onto me or making me feel some kind of way um, at all. 'Cause I wasn't sure if anyone felt that way, but it almost sounded like she thought that if Beverly thought that I was was misunderstood, which I didn't feel that way at all. But it's good to hear that her story yesterday was pretty powerful. And I thought I had it bad when I was younger. Um, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear up the air, 'cause just in case anybody was confused, anyone who heard it the Wednesday call, I didn't want it for one to be, oh, this, he's still going through depression. He's going through signs of it because he's, eating butter
No.
amongst other things.
Is
And
that
number
what is
two,
is
that
that
I
how
was
you
being
thought it came
picked on.
across? Is that how you thought it came across?
I'm sorry.
I said, is that how you thought it came across?
Well, I just I was confused. I wasn't sure if it was the way that you
Okay.
just said to clarify, or if it was
Right.
what she was saying. So I was just making sure that I clarified it and that I got understanding of what the understanding was. So now that I understand, it's okay. It's cool. But
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she said
That's
something, she
all.
said
Yeah, that's all it
she
was.
did
What she was saying is, you know, that I went through what you went through also. So
right.
don't feel anything or whatever, to let you know, because sometimes people can be, and I'm not saying this is you, but sometimes people can feel ashamed of their past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes people can feel ashamed that they've gone through